Alright, so I'm going to create a level manager. I made this script to select an object, and basically I'll show you what it does. First of all, I'm using Text Mesh Pro. I've created a private game object. I use a serialized field so we can see it in the inspector. We have our raycast object that's hit, and then we have our Text Mesh Pro, which is basically just going to tell me what we hit, its X position, and its Z position. I'm going to change that to Y position. That's not really needed, but it helps for debugging right now. And then we also have our debug log that just says what has been selected. And this is just a raycast here. So we set up our raycast, and when we hit something that has a box collider on it, our raycast object up here becomes what we hit. So it goes hit.transform.gameObject becomes, or is, the raycast object hit. So that's very simple. And so I've created a level manager. I will reset the position. I will put my select object on the level manager. I created a 2D texture here. Apply, and it's just a border. And let's see how that looks. And basically, if we select a room, I want this to display. And we could also put it in the foreground and, I don't know, make it 10. That's actually the best way to do it, because now it's in front of the other sprites, but not the other 3D objects. So let's get it into a good position. I think that's good. And basically, I'm going to set this up on every single room. And I'm going to put a box collider on it. Let's call it room highlight. And we're going to save it as a prefab. Let's put it in with rooms for now. I could also put these room prefabs in there too. Okay. So we have this one. And I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put one here. So if you've played Fallout Shelter, you know that it's only on like the one you've selected. So, and I believe it fades out too after you get there. So basically, it's like an active waypoint. Once you get to that point, the black fades in, the green goes away, and you can battle or pick up your items. So let's hit play and see if we can recognize what these are. So I got my level manager selected, and in my game view, look at that. I can now select each room highlight, and if I click anywhere else, nothing else gets selected because nothing else has a box collider. And now that we're able to select things, we can interact with those things and tell them to do things. So we have this animator on our room fader. We can use that same animator on our highlight. And yeah, we can see that we have our fade in and our fade out. And we could even take it a step further and do not hidden. So I want to create a waypoint inside each room where the player is going to stand. We can create an empty. And I want to line up close to where he is. And I'm sure we will adjust it at some point. But yeah, so we'll just do that and we will name it room, and type out room waypoint. If I can type, there we go. And I'm going to copy this, oops, and go to the other prefab, and I'm going to paste that in and move it over to the left side here of that room. And this is not part of a prefab, so I'm actually going to delete it and recreate it so it is a prefab room. And yep, that's lined up. Cool. We want this to be connected to this. So how do we do that? There's a couple ways. So it might make better sense to put these inside of their prefabs. And where's the third one? Oh, that is the third one. There we go. And then I'm going to overwrite these two, but not the third one because that's a copy of the prefab. So now we have that. And what we can do is we could put a script on here that contains the waypoint. So let's put that on our room highlight. Let's get room 1 first. And so we're in the prefab for room highlight. I'm just going to put that script there. I can make the waypoint a child, and then we can have it automatically find it every time. So we don't have to manually input it every time we make a room. So I'm going to unpack, put this under here, do a room highlight. We're going to replace that, and then I'm going to replace that. And same thing for this. And then I guess that doesn't have to be 001 anymore. Let's call it waypoint. Let's revert all for that one. Try to line that up better. Okay, cool. Okay, so inside the room highlight prefab, we can just drag room waypoint in here because it's a child of the prefab. So it will automatically know, hey, this child is my waypoint. And so when we come back here, let's check this other one. Look at that. It's the child. And let's check the third one. And it is the child. The other thing I want to do is control the animations through a script. So I'm going to create an animation manager and animator. We will have a start. I want serialized field for a private int, and this is going to be the atom state, or let's call it atom clip because our thing is called atom state. And then we can say starting clip, and we'll say atom dot set integer, and it's called atom state, and then we are going to set it to the starting clip. So as soon as this as soon as the game starts, it will go straight to whatever animation we have this set to. And then we can also create like a public one to change atom clip, and maybe we'll do like int I, and we'll say set this to I. So if we run this from another script, we make a reference, we can just change it to whichever clip we want it to. So that should be pretty useful. So let's go back to our prefab here. We're going to add in our animation manager, and in the animation tree we created, I have not hidden, so we can kind of connect all these guys together in the way that we need to. So if it does start out hidden, so let's see which one that is, because I think it's a little backwards for the highlight. So that shows it, and then not hidden. Oh, hold on, let me do it on this one. So hidden shows it, and then not hidden does not show it. So it's a little backwards for this because we were using the same one to hide the room, but that is okay. So if we start out with hidden, we can just do a transition. I'm going to make it 0 transition time, so it will instantly go there. And we'll say if this equals, this is 0, this is 1, so we can make this 2. So if our atom state is 2, we go to not hidden. And then what does our fade out look like? So that kind of brings it in, it shows it. So if we are not hidden, it's invisible, and so we can have it show up. No exit timer, and then the condition will equal 3, and then we can also have it fade out, and that condition would be, I think, 1, right? Yep, that one's 1. No exit timer. And then we can also, we don't need it to go back to hidden. No, we can actually, and that one can have an exit timer. So we'll have it go back to hidden when it's all done. You know what? I think we'll set that up in the code, because if this stays 1, it would just keep going back and forth like a loop. So yeah, no exit timer. And we can set that up to work in the code a little bit better than what I'm explaining. So yeah, in the prefabs here, we want this to be 2, so it will go straight to not hidden. So starting clip will be 2. I don't think we used this anim clip. Yeah, so we can get rid of that. That's all we have for now. Cool. Components, animator. Okay. That should do it. Yep, and now they're all gone. And so when we select this, we want it to change the animation also. So under our select object, private void, change animation object, and we want the animation for it. So we can make a reference, animator, and we'll say selected object animator. So we'll say that equals raycast object dot hit dot get component animator, and then we can say actually we want the animation manager, not the animator. And then we can say change anim clip, and then we have that integer, and then we can select what we want it to be. So maybe we will set a integer here as well, and we'll just pass through whatever that integer is. So when we select our room, we want this to go to 3. So when we click, we select, change animation to 3. I don't have this set up yet. Oops. So let's just get rid of that. Ah, awesome. So we don't want to select multiple. So let's say when we first click, if raycast, or wait, if this is not equal to null, so basically we're going to say if we already had a previous object selected, then let's reset that animation. We can say set that back to 0, or actually I think it was 1 for these. Actually it was 2. It was 2. So basically it's gonna, if there was an animator already, it's gonna change it to 2. And then let's move this up here. I'm just gonna get rid of that altogether, we don't need it. Alright, so if we had one selected, we're gonna reset it. Then we will set the new one when we click on the object, and then we will change the animation to 3. Let's see how it looks. There's that one, there's that one, there's that one. It didn't work. And I know why, because we don't have a thing set up to go backwards. So let's set up a transition to go backwards to 2. And just confirm that is 2. Yes. And no exit timer. Looks good. Right. This is looping. I don't want it to do that. Okay. Let's try again. Look at that. That's great. It's exactly what we wanted. Now we want our dude to move, to actually go to those waypoints.